Good evening. If you guys are watching live, let me know. And if you're catching it on the replay, welcome and let me know that too. We are excited to have Jeri Allison with us tonight. For our member spotlight. So I'm super excited to bring her on and introduce you to her. Jeri is so fun because she's so real. She's a little bit rotten and super, super sweet. And I just think you guys are going to find her to be really relatable. And I think you're going to see a lot of yourself in her journey. She's a mom, and she carries a lot of the weight of that on her own. And so she's had to really get creative and be very intentional about fitting in time to make herself a priority. And I think that as a group, that's something that we're kind of learning and coming into our own about. And she sets a really good example of how to do that so that she can show up in better, more positive ways for her family. I know for a lot of us, it's almost like, do I take care of them or do I take care of myself? And she does a really good job of showing sort of how to do both and the importance of taking care of yourself so that you can take care of your family, to be a better mom and wife and, whatever it is, whatever your responsibilities are, to be able to show up in a better way because of the time that you've invested in making sure that you're okay. So I'm super excited for you guys to get to meet her. As you get in, if you guys will give me a little comment or a wave or a heads up so that I know that you're here and I know the comments are working, that will be great. And once I see Jeri on here, I will bring her on and introduce you. If you all have questions that you want me to make sure that I ask, throw them up in comments as well. All right. Hi, Zach. All right, y'all, Jeri is on her way. It is doing some Facebook magic to get her here for me. I'm so excited for y'all to get to meet her. You've been seeing the pictures, and she's had a really impressive and kind of incredible physical change, but I think that sort of her emotional and kind of mindset changes are even more exciting if that's possible. Oh boy, we appreciate you doing that. So her husband is joining us, and it is 3 a.m. in Kuwait right now. It is 8 p.m. on the East Coast. So this will be a long evening for you, but I appreciate you joining us. We are very proud of your girl. All right, I am going to unadd and then try to add you back, Jeri. It's not... Oh, hi. Never mind. Hello.
I made it.
Hey, sweet girl. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
You're welcome. So I'm trying to figure this out because I was holding it vertically and I guess that didn't work.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
So I'm trying to set it up, maybe. I don't know if that's going to work. Maybe I'll just hold it.
Whatever works for you, or we can stop it and flip it and roll that way.
Maybe, oh my gosh. If I flip it, is it going to work? If I do that?
You're gonna be sideways.
No. Okay. Maybe we should have did a test run because I just got these headphones and I'm like, are these going to work? I have to connect them.
They sound great.
That's good. At least you can hear me.
Absolutely.
Maybe I'll just hold it because I don't have anywhere else to put it. Go get me something.
And tell them, we were talking about, we've been kind of touching base throughout the day. And tell them about your schedule. Like, what are you flying in from? Like, what are you just getting back from?
So just now I went to work out and I just got home basically. And I'm really nervous if you can't tell. So I got off work at 5
awesome.
and made it to the gym at 5:30. Came home at 6:30 and tried to put all this together.
Well, you're doing great, and I appreciate you so much. For the people who are just now joining us who don't know who you are, give us a little bit of information about who Jeri Allison is and what your background is and, just sort of where you are in the world.
So right now I am in Alabama. I am from West Virginia. And so I first found out about the group from a friend who was also from West Virginia. And she's like, oh, you should join this group. There's a dietitian from Huntington that runs it. And you should try the cheesecake. That was like the first thing is, oh, you have to try the protein cheesecake. So ever since then, I'm kind of like the protein cheesecake is the gateway to this community.
Absolutely. That's gospel.
Maybe this will work.
Look at you. Awesome. Yep, looks great.
Oh, not better. I'm terrible at this.
You're doing fine.
So right now it's currently it's sitting on megawatt and leaning against a protein container. So.
I mean, that's perfect. I can't think of a better endorsement.
Yep.
All right. So when you are not hanging out with us, what do you do?
Well, I'm a mom and a wife, and my kid is right here. One of my kids trying to like get in the camera.
Hey.
I'm really nervous.
Don't be. So with your schedule, I know you have a lot of momming to do because you're kind of on your own for extended periods. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Okay. So my husband is currently in Kuwait on a government
and
contract.
Hanging out with us, which is awesome.
So yeah, so I'm pretty much kind of doing this whole everything here. And so, run the kids around. Like today I had to take them to tennis at 5:30 and go to the gym at 5:30. And I'm just usually running around like a crazy person.
Yeah, she is. I know that.
Yeah. I love it. But you're getting it done, and that's what matters. Can you talk to us about when you first got started, pre-cheesecake, pre-hanging out with us? Like, what did you look like then? Like, what was your life like then?
I would say mostly like mom mode. I think once you become a mom, and that's kind of like what you do, everything you do, you have to do for them.
Right.
So that's what I was. And so, I put on a little bit of weight over that period of time. And I just wanted to be better and to lose the weight. And I thought I was stuck there, because you just kind of get in that mode to where It's like, man, I want to change, but I don't know what to do or how to do it.
Right.
And so
what
I also
had you done before?
Like working out wise.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, I kind of did just little at home things. I would work out about 20 or so minutes every now and then. But it never was consistently. So I was kind of like here and there, the whole, I need to lose 10 pounds before vacation. And then once vacation's over, and then you're like, oh, well, I can do whatever I want. And then you get right back into it the next year.
And how did that change? Like, how did you make that switch from like, this is a short-term thing to like, this is who I am and what I'm about?
The biggest change for me was actually committing to the First Form challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved to Alabama in May, and then my husband had left in September. And so, I was in a new area, didn't know anyone, and we had actually, it was your birthday. We had actually got a membership at the local YMCA. And so before he had left. So, once he left, I was like, well, maybe I'll go and check it out. And it was always kind of maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll check it out. And so when we did that and got the membership, then I decided I was going to do the challenge. I did that in October, and I did my first dance class I went to by myself, which was completely like out of my comfort zone, doing something by myself and not knowing anyone. And stop, Xavier. I'm gonna knock it off. So, and I totally fell in love with the people. They were here. So then I started taking like 4 classes and doing
Good.
all the group fitness classes. And so I kind of fell in love with that. And that's kind of what has kept me going, as even with the challenge too, is I have to be there at a certain time. So I know that I have
Right.
to go to the class at 8:30 or, 5:30, whatever time. And so that I have to do it or I won't do it. So I
And that's
committed to
really good
doing
for our
that.
people to hear. Like when somebody is waiting for you and you've said like, hey, I'm going to do this thing versus, oh, I'm going to do a video in my house at some point when I get
Yeah.
around to it. So it's important for them to like get that that's a good way to kind of check yourself, is to make sure somebody's waiting on you.
And especially like the instructors. So the first time that I had went, I met one of the main instructors at the Y. Her name is Sally. And she's so sweet and genuine, like you love it here. And then you get in her class and she's like boot camp, like yelling at them, do this. And it was really great. And that kind of,
Yeah.
but so now my routine has kind of changed now so I was just working part-time and doing things around my work schedule. And so now I'm working full-time.
Cool girl.
And so some of the classes I can't make it to. So now I'm going to have to do things on my own,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be challenging.
Absolutely, but I have no doubt that you will be able to do that. Do you think you would have weathered that switch as well? You know, like right now you've got this routine kind of going into this change of seasons for your life. Do you think you would have been able to weather that as well without this like period of kind of concentration? Because you've been on your game since almost this time last year,
I know. And
which is
I feel
awesome.
so this is kind of the longest time that I've been consistent with all of it, with putting the nutrition and the fitness, everything together. Um, and it's a combination of things that kind of keep me on track too. So, the time that I have to be at the gym or the transformation challenge for sure.
Sure, absolutely.
Because it's like, and you have to get on there and be accountable for what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just kind of fall off the wagon. I mean, you can't. There's been some ups and downs, and I've, posted about, oh, well, I was off the wagon for 2 weeks and now I'm back on. It happens.
It absolutely does. And that was one of the questions I have for later, but let me throw it in now. When people want to get to know you and kind of follow your journey, how do they find you? Like where can they watch you post about this? Because I fell in love with you when there was the sock post. I have an affection for good athletic high socks. I think they're great. And so when you were
I
like,
love
"Hey,
it.
I'm just gonna kick it with these socks," I was like, "Oh, we're good. Like we're gonna be people forever." So if people want to watch like how you're accomplishing this and how you're juggling, and you're always great about posting very authentic but inspirational stuff. It's not just like, "Hey, rah rah." It's like, well, this is how life went. That was sort of crappy, but here's what I'm doing instead. Or like, this is how things are going well, but here are the pitfalls I had to look out for. I love how authentic and candid it is. So how do people find you?
On Instagram, mostly. I mean, I kind of post some things on Facebook, but I post more of the fitness things on Instagram. And so the name is kind of funny. My husband's brother actually came up with it. So it's they dot, I think,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know my own
You're a
Instagram
dot. You're
handle.
a dot.
Dot call dot me dot Jerina. So Jerina.
Perfect. Yeah, and I
And
only know
so
that because
he's
I
the
had
one
to
that
look
took
it
me
up.
to getting it.
I love it. A couple of the things that you're really good about busting excuses for are things like there's this misconception that people who don't have a ton to lose, like you didn't have 80 pounds to lose, like this isn't one of those stories. But there is almost an idea that if a person doesn't have this huge long journey, that it's something that they shouldn't have to worry about in the kitchen. Like they can just correct that. You just tone up in the gym. Can you talk about why that's not real and how you had to kind of get all the pieces to fit together? Because it's almost like the opposite of fat shaming or something. Like if you don't have, if you can't say that you lost 365 pounds, like your story is not important. And I think this story is really important.
Right.
And can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, I can because it's a struggle because I'm not one of those people that can just eat whatever I want and do nothing because I mean at my heaviest I was probably about 195 pounds.
Hmm.
And so right now I'm at 155. So I mean through a period of about a year and a half
Mama, my
since I
60
was that heavy.
pounds.
So I really do have to watch what I eat. I mean,
Hmm.
I'd love to sit and eat chocolate all day. That's kind of my weakness. But and then that's where the protein and the tweaking all the recipes comes in. The ones that I
Right.
love, like they're so easy. The brownie and the mug with the
Hmm.
protein,
Yep.
you like that protein? And you just mix cocoa powder, protein, throw it in the microwave, and it was delicious. And the kids eat it too.
And would you say, I know this is true for me and they probably get tired of me talking about it, but would you say that most of your sweets that are not like, complete cheats or refeeds or whatever, would you say most of your normal sweets come from protein recipes?
I try to do that, yes. So
Yeah.
and I'll try to do healthier versions, like with the dark chocolate and peanut butter.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
I try now to focus on making sure that it has protein and not just, sugar.
Right, right. Almost offsets it, If you know that it's going to be something with, 20 grams of carbs, at least you hit 15 of protein along the way.
Yeah.
Yep. Can you talk to us about taking time to make sure that you were a priority? Because I feel like that's a really important thing as a mom, and your kids are young and you're single mom in it right now in all practical aspects. Can you talk about like how you were able to make that switch from like, hey, I'm the person who serves them to it's okay to put, myself on my to-do list?
I think I, my oldest is 9, and so my youngest is 6. And so this year was really the first year they both were in school. So then I actually had a little bit of free time to
Right.
myself. And so that made it a little bit easier to kind of figure out, oh, well, I'm not just a mom now. I
Right.
can do other things. And so you think, like in the beginning, how it's, oh, I shouldn't do this because I should be spending time with the kids. Like I should not be working on myself. But there's a lot of different ways that you can add them into what
Hmm.
you're doing. And so we've been out a couple of nights. The kids will ride their bike and I'll run around, right? You like to run with me? He's sitting here with me.
And that's so important that they get to be active and that you're setting an example. So you're kind of getting, double duty for what you're doing. It's helping you, but it's also letting you show them how to take care of yourself.
And sometimes, they'll go into the fitness room, the kid room, and hang out with all the kids.
Very cool.
Mama, whenever it's tennis, you never do it.
Whenever it's tennis.
Yeah, 'cause whenever the workout, you didn't come and get it and put us in the room.
No, because you walked over to meet me there. Today after tennis, they had to walk over to the fitness room.
Gotcha. A little out of the routine, huh?
Yeah, so because I couldn't go, well, I mean, I could run over and get them real quick and then run back to the fitness class, but I was like, you know what? They can just walk over. It's
Hmm.
just a little walk, they're old enough.
I love it.
So I'm helicoptering over them. They can kind of do their own thing a little bit.
That's so hard. That's so hard to let happen. I have to
It's
like
so,
consciously be like, don't do it. Don't intervene. Let him do it. Let him fall. It's okay.
like you're going to get
Can
hurt. Stop.
can you talk to me about your first step? I know that the transformation challenge was important. Was that your first step or was it the why? Or like, do you remember when you said like I'm in, like I'm really gonna take care of this stuff?
I'm trying to think. So I totally came into this kind of unprepared.
Oh, you're
I
fine.
prepared a little bit today, and so I'm looking at this paper where I wrote down some things so I wouldn't forget. So I think I'm gonna see what I wrote here.
All right.
Well, I think the first step was kind of a combination of a lot of things coming together.
Mm-hmm.
So around October timeframe, I had failed a college class that I was taking online. And so, and that's like the same time, my husband left, I failed this class, and I was
Your
just
new
like,
place.
I'm terrible. Like, I suck at life. I'm a fail. You know what I mean? All those things that go through your head when you
Sure,
fail.
absolutely.
And I struggle with that. So that's one of the reasons I kind of am reluctant to try certain things or to commit to actually say I'm going to do it is because I'm scared to fail.
That's so common
And
and
so,
so nice to hear.
yeah, so that's why I was always kind of following the macro page in the background. I'd comment here and there on the recipes you guys would post, and um, just I was kind of in the background, just watching. And so when that happened, failed the class, and then um, so then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something that I can have control over, that I can do on my
Mm-hmm.
own, without any help really from anyone, like just to make the commitment to do this, just because I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it.
I love that. That like you
And
took a bad experience and you used it as a way to just double down and, kind of throw fingers in the air and make something good happen for yourself. I love that about you.
it's really surprising. I even surprise myself sometimes. I went back through today and was looking through my Instagram when I first started. And so like the first 4 weeks of the transformation, I'm just like, how did I do this? Like, I did this.
Yeah,
When
absolutely.
once you actually put your mind to doing it and putting all the things that you need to do, like you need to eat right, you should work out, but you're just kind of on the fence about it, even though but once you actually commit to doing it, it's just amazing what you can actually do.
I think that that's really important for our friends to hear too, because I think for a lot of people, they want to ride the fence and not commit and not like risk screwing it up.
Mhm.
And so they don't ever get the results they want. And they're like, ugh, I've been here for 6 months and I've only, gained and lost the same 5 pounds 15 times. And we hear it a lot. And I get how frustrating that is.
Yeah.
But it's that extra inch of like, okay, I'm really going to do this. Like I wrote it down, I told some people, and I'm going to show up. And when it doesn't go right, I'm going to show up again.
Yeah.
Not just I'm going to do it until it goes sideways and then we
And then
start
I'm
over.
done.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And
to our
that's usually,
lurkers,
yes, because you did, and that's what I did before too, is kind of just hang out in the background because I was scared to do it. And that's what I've had, a couple people reach out to me and ask what I've been doing and what program I've been following, things like that. And I can see, a lot of people don't want to commit, don't want to post pictures on Instagram, on Facebook, social media. And I can totally get that, because if
sure.
you would have asked me a year ago, do you think you'd post fitness pictures on Instagram? I would have, no, like I would have looked at you and you're crazy. I would never do that. But I am.
And it's
Crazy.
working. I mean, it is clearly working so well. And that's we talked about this when we talked to Dennis a couple weeks ago about one of the ways to get out of your own way is to stop saying like I would never, and just go
Yeah,
with it. Like because the things
yeah,
that you do now, Jeri a year ago would never have. Like you would never have, you know, uh, shirtless side by side fitness picture. Like you would never.
no,
But when you
no,
did, it went awfully well for you.
it did.
Can you
And
talk to us
it's,
about your
um,
results? Oh, sorry.
oh no, it's very inspiring, just the Instagram fitness community in general.
Right.
Um, and if you're not a part of that, you don't really understand it. And I didn't understand it either. I used to be one of those people that was like, ugh, posting, fitness pictures again, like, why do you do this? Or because you see it, but you don't really understand it. But I've interacted with a lot of people on Instagram, and it's become like a fitness family,
Absolutely.
to where you're having an off day and someone might comment on your picture and say something inspiring, or they'll post something inspiring and you're like, yeah, I can do that. So it's become like a big part of my life. With I'll post things sometimes that are maybe inspiring, but maybe to inspire myself at the same time if I'm having a hard time.
Absolutely. And that's an important piece too, is that, you don't have to wait. Like, you can look for inspiration. You can go through other people's posts, or you can just post it yourself. Like, this is what I wish I believed about myself right now. I'm gonna put it up here and I'm gonna work on this, because there are other people who are working toward that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. For anybody who has not seen my spam, because I've just been spamming Jeri pictures. It's my favorite thing to do right now. I'm just like, hey, did you see Jeri? We're going to talk to her on Tuesday. Hey, check out my friend Jeri. Can you tell them about your results? Can you tell them about... I've loved it. How are you different physically, and how are you different as far as like emotionally in your mindset?
So physically, since I started the challenge in October, I've dropped, well, in October, I think I was 65, about 15 pounds or so. So it's kind of been a little maintenance. And it's really hard when it comes to this whole journey when you don't have a weight loss number.
Right.
Like, I'm not necessarily trying to lose weight right now.
2 times in a row.
2 times in a row, I know.
That's all right.
So it can be a little challenging. Like, the number on the scale is still the same.
Right.
The inches, I actually have not measured myself in a while, which I had planned on doing it and then I didn't do it. But that's where the transformation pictures come in.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you think, like, there were a couple times that I'm like, I'm not making any progress. I'm so, upset with this. But then you put your side by side together, because I remember Jeremy had messaged me one night to do like a halfway point picture. And I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Mm.
And so when I did it, then I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it's like you can really tell once you put them together.
Yes.
So
When you said pictures, I was like,
anytime
Jeremy's so happy.
anytime anybody asks me about what to do, like, for real, take your day one. Like, I took my day one a long time before I actually committed. So the one picture that you shared
Loved
yesterday,
it. Thank you for letting me do it.
I'm just
In the
like,
blue pants. I know you hate me for it, but it was so good.
Because that's when I think I was about 185-ish, 90, something like that. And so I was going to start the challenge then. And that was March of last year. And I was going to do it. I took my day one and then I didn't. And then but yeah, so when you just take the day one, just do it. Because then you can compare and as much as it's like, oh my God, how did I let myself get to that point? But then you remember how far that you have made it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for people who are waiting for the scale to change when they're that close to goal weight, like you're at goal weight, that's when kind of the body recompositioning comes in. Like, you're seeing more muscle, you're seeing less fat, things are tightening up. So that's where the pictures, even probably more so than the inches, really can kind of keep you going and let you see your progress, because the scale just can't, like, it can't differentiate between, muscle and fat and all those things.
Right. So it does get a little, you can be a little hard, or I can be a little hard on myself when it comes to, the numbers on the scale, which is becoming easier now, especially there was at one point that I shared something and then you had shared it as a non-scale victory. And I think at that point, I hadn't really considered that a thing, like a non-scale victory, because I think a lot of people just put so much emphasis on the number on the scale.
Yep.
And it's kind of like in there, in your head, like, this number.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that go into it that you could really be making progress and not even realize it.
Can you think of any non-scale victories in particular to kind of give people something to
Um,
look for?
so, I mean, the inches lost is one. Your clothes fit better. I can fit into clothes that I hadn't wore in 9 years, like pre-baby clothes. You know, people,
That's
you're
awesome.
always like, "Oh, I wish I could get back to the size I was in high school." And then boom, you're there.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
and so, and then like push-ups, I can do push-ups. I could never in my life do push-ups. Never thought I could do them because it's one of those things that you get in your head like, my arms are so weak, like I'll never be able to do that. So I haven't timed myself in a while, but like 40 in a minute.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
So definitely gaining muscle has been pretty amazing because I have muscles that I never thought I would have
Yep.
or never thought I wanted.
Isn't
Like,
that weird? A year ago you had
yeah,
been like, I don't want muscles, don't bring me muscles, please take the muscles someplace else. And now you're like, did you see what this can do?
oh. Because when you think about the journey, it's kind of like, oh, weight loss journey. This is weight loss, and that's all you think about.
Right. Absolutely. We talk about that sometimes as far as like how we're screwed before we start, because that's what the vocabulary we literally have to talk about getting stronger, losing fat, and like changing our lives is weight loss journey. It's all they gave us.
Yeah.
And so when it stops being that, or when it's not a weight loss, literally a loss on the scale fast enough, we miss all of those other things.
And then you think, well, I'm done. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times. I've done that a lot of times too.
Yeah. The
I was
scale
doing,
doesn't move and you just eat brownies because the scale didn't move. And then you really don't have progress.
but brownies, but you can make protein brownies though.
Yeah, girl, you sure can. And I love that you include your kids in that. You know, that this is like how you cook with your family and it's just become a part of your routine. I think that's huge. And I think that's one of the things that probably makes it stick. Because it's not like you removed from, your group doing this weird thing on the side. Like it's just this is how we are and this is what we do.
Well, and it's kind of hard too because I have a picky child right here. This one that doesn't
Just
like
this one.
anything. What are you
Do you
doing?
have any tips for getting around that?
Ah, you did it again. You did it.
I love it. After you jumped in, did you have any like doubts or concerns, or was it smooth sailing after that? Once you were like, okay, this is it, I'm in.
Mackenzie, take that in there, please. She has like a chip bag that she's crunching on. What was it that you said? My video had like froze.
That's all right. After you committed, so one of the tougher parts was just saying like, okay, I'm in and I'm doing this. Um, After that, did you ever doubt yourself, or was it just easy?
All the time. I still do. I know, that's because they're watching.
I
I
love
think
it.
you all like I always have I'm gonna look and see if there was something I had wanted to say.
Watching.
I know he is watching, right? I think
And Brian's watching.
the hard part with also being
Brian's
on
watching as well.
I love them.
this is my life.
This is real life. This is what it's like. And it happens when you're working out and they're crawling all over you. And it happens in the kitchen. This is just life.
I can't hear. What was I gonna say? Oh, like so with posting on social media about the fitness journey, then you kind of also post about the struggles but you don't want to. I know, so I have this idea of how everything should go. And so I've been a perfectionist, and that plays into the fear of failure as well. Because if I can't do something perfect, and if I'm not gonna be good at it, and I'm scared I'm gonna fail, all those things kind of play
Sure,
together.
absolutely.
it's hard for me to if I'm not where I want to be, or if think I should be getting more results, then it's hard to post about the struggles that you have for everyone to see. But then at the
Right.
same time, a lot of people that I follow, like the people that are on their, years into their fitness journey, the ones that you can't really compare your first chapter to those people.
Right. Their 80th chapter or wherever they are.
Yeah. And so sometimes that gets a little hard, but you kind of have to, I'm not going to look like that in 6 months.
Right.
Well, I don't know. There's been some pretty amazing transformations in this challenge that I'm like, wow, how in the world? A lot of that, like on Jeremy's team too, David Lowry, Dennis,
He brings the heavy hitters, man. We
right?
get
It's crazy.
spoiled watching them. We're like, what? Why didn't I do that?
I know.
But they're so
So I'm like, what do I
disciplined.
need to do? I need to do this. And you kind of, when you put your mind to it, to actually like commit, I was tracking my macros and I followed the 8-week plan that's on here,
Mm-hmm.
where you kind of, and a lot of times it's not, people think about the crash diet, all these crash dieting things where you can't eat and you can't do this, but you kind of just lower your carbs over a period of time. And you do get to that last week where you can only eat 25 carbs, but then you go back up after that. But once commit to logging the macros, and you get used to the routine of it.
Right.
That
Have you found that when you post the vulnerable stuff, the stuff that you're nervous about posting, that you get more feedback, like more positive feedback?
a lot of times, like I posted today about, because I had on the shirt, the Black Sheep dietitian shirt, and it says keep showing up on the back. And so yesterday was the last day to sign up for the challenge. And so I almost was kind of like, do I really want to commit to this right now? Because just started a new job. We're going to have after school activities, and I'm going to be taking 2 classes and doing the fitness challenge.
Well,
And so, the thought kind of crossed my mind, like, how am I going to do all this? How am I going to juggle everything? But you just kind of do it.
yeah, absolutely.
I did it. And so the
I'm
post
proud.
I made today was kind of like, you have to keep showing up, keep putting yourself out there. You can always make time somewhere. Everything is not going, you're not going to be able to do everything. So some things are going to be sacrificed, like
Sure.
cleaning of the house and stuff.
Priorities.
Yeah.
I love it. What are you excited about right now, moving forward? I know you got a lot of scary things on your plate, but like, what drives you? What are you hyped about?
Right now. Let me think about something. I know I didn't think about this one today. I saw the question at the end, and I didn't do it.
That's okay.
Right now,
It's not homework.
I
You're
don't have
good.
any, like, crazy fitness goals. Other than, I think the most challenging part is going to be making it to the gym on my own without having the fitness classes there to tell me what to do.
Right.
So, sometimes whenever I look at the transformation site and Jeremy does the daily workouts, and I'll do those. Sometimes I'll do those too. So I'm going to be doing those more often. So it's kind of like a routine change. I'm excited for the routine change just because I feel like sometimes when you have more things to do, you get more done.
Yep. That's
because
real.
you're on that time crunch where, you have to do this. Because otherwise, you sit on social media and kind of, I'm on my free time right now.
Right. And you get more productive when when you have more to stack in and less of that time to do the scroll.
Yeah.
What do you think would have happened if you hadn't buckled down and said, like, okay, I'm not going to lurk. I'm not going to just be like, high five for cheesecake. Like, what would you be like right now? How would you feel?
I thought about this question today, And I thought it was interesting because when I think about what I've done in life so far, and I think about, I should have done this, I should have done that, I could have done this, and I didn't do it. So I always think about the negative things I should have done, but I never really thought about what if I didn't do the positive things. So what if I didn't do this challenge? Then I don't know where I would be.
And I like
Do
that that's a different perspective, you know, that
it is.
it's kind of a celebration of what you've done right.
Right. Instead of worrying about the should haves or the could haves.
Absolutely.
So I would say a celebration of a good decision, a right decision to, put me on a different path.
Absolutely. What does success look like for you? So like you're at goal weight, but like what, if we could like poof you into perfect success in this journey, what would that look like for you?
Go to Ninja Warrior.
My daughter said Ninja Warrior.
Yes, I heard that. That would be amazing. I love that plan for success. It's a training plan. It's a great celebration of your progress.
It would be. And one
Ninja
thing
Warrior.
too
Yes.
is like a Spartan race. So I've
That
kind
would be
of
great.
around the idea of doing a Spartan race, but again, haven't fully committed. So
Well,
I
when
think
you
that's one of
do,
the
everybody will be real hyped because it's a great thing to get to train for. And there's a ton of crazy people in our crew who either have done them or want to do them, or you could help push to do them. I love that
right.
plan.
So I'd say next move would be one of the two. Well, not necessarily Ninja Warrior, but I mean, that's kind of crazy.
I love that.
Let's say Spartan race.
Perfect. And you said it here in front of people, so it's almost like a commitment.
I know, right? So now I'm committed.
You were talking about doing push-ups and things, but what other things can you do now that you couldn't do before?
Running.
Free baby jeans.
Longer distances, yeah. Fitting in different clothes.
And maybe try and work on your.
Oh, Mackenzie wants me to work on my back bend.
Oh, that's a great goal. Why not?
That's one of the things. We do these little challenges, and so she always beats me in the flexibility challenges. So I need to work on that.
You look like.
Things I could. Oh, I know a good one. Is wear a bikini for the first time in forever, and be okay with it.
That's awesome. All of the moms are like, yes, can that be a thing? Like that's awesome.
Especially before vacation, not freaking out about, oh my God, I'm going to the beach or wherever and I'm going to have to wear this swimsuit. This was probably the first time in ever that I was not freaking out about it.
That's awesome. Like you could look forward to going to the beach.
Yeah.
Right? Like how it's supposed to be. That's fantastic.
Although trying on the bikini is a different story. So, if you're out there trying them on, you try on like 50 and maybe 2 of them, you're like, oh yeah, I like this. They're not made for every, like you don't have to find you find the one that you like after you try on 100.
Absolutely. It's almost as bad as jean shopping.
It is. It's like, can you build your own? Is there a place where you can do that? Like
you can build your own shampoo now. You should be able to do that by now. It's 2018. Come on. What advice would you give to people who are just getting started? So if they're here and they've not done the transformation challenge, they've never done macro ed, they don't, they're just lurking and eating cheesecake, like protein cheesecake maybe. But what advice would you give them?
I would say to not be afraid to actually commit to making yourself better, to being a better you. You're as a mom, you're trying to always help your kids, do these things that they can do to be better, but you kind of don't do that for yourself.
Right.
So I'd say don't be afraid to actually commit and set a goal and just go after it.
That's awesome. We are now 3 for 3. We've done 3 member spotlights. You're our third. And Matt Poff, his advice was go all in. And Dennis, his advice was commit, get serious about it, say it out loud, and go after it. Jeri Allison
so
says, don't be afraid to commit. I love it. I didn't feed anybody any lines. This is all not scripted. But it has been so consistent from you guys.
And that is like the main key, really, is to actually commit, write stuff down. I mean, I'm terrible with writing things down sometimes, but with, doing the macros, so you're putting it in there.
Right.
Like I need to work on the fitness journaling and things like that to be able to say, this is what I'm going to do today to reach my goals. I know you had posted something the other day about what's your goals for the week. Have you wrote it down somewhere? And I'm like, no, I didn't.
Yeah, everybody hates me because I ask those questions. I don't make any friends, but hopefully you guys are getting closer to these goals. All right, I've got some rapid fire. Actually, before we rapid fire, is there anything I didn't ask that you wanted to share? Is there anything that we left out that is?
Let me look at my papers that I wrote here.
Yes, ma'am. So we kind of skipped around, but.
Try to beat that.
Right before we started, mine were doing, they were dressed as Wonder Woman, and I don't know what the little one had on. And they were doing dance parties in here. And I was like, y'all, thankfully their bedtime was a little bit earlier. So we let them dance. We did the videos, and then we were like, go.
Yes. And we do that too. We do Just Dance for the Wii.
That's awesome.
And the Nintendo Switch. So they get but I'm sure my downstairs neighbors probably hate me because, we're up here around.
I mean, just trying to raise active kids.
I know. And I don't, I don't let them do it like at midnight. So it should be okay.
Absolutely.
I think one of the questions that was on there was your beliefs and values, like what are your strongest beliefs? So I think like one of the main things that really comes to mind would be you're not a product of your environment, that like the choices that you make now are what you become.
Absolutely.
And so, I come from a small town, and being from a small town, and I'm sure, like, I was surprised when I found out Jeremy was from McDowell County.
Yeah, you guys are like
because,
that's twins. Like, he's right over there, right?
Yeah, so that's super close. And he said McDowell. I was like, what? Because I thought he was from Huntington. But yeah, so McDowell County is even like smaller than where I'm from, maybe.
Absolutely.
So, I can say you can always make excuses about your life and where you're from and the cards you had been dealt, and it's a struggle. Like sometimes I still struggle with that. Like, I could, if I would have done this differently, or if I would have did this or been from somewhere else, I go through those type of struggles. But at the end of the day, I can overcome that and not be a product of my environment and make my own decisions. So I think
huge.
That you control your own destiny, pretty much.
And that's so empowering, because everybody has their thing. Like, everybody has that thing that they think that's broken about them that is why they can't be successful. Like, whether it's where you're from, or a health restriction, or something in your past, or, a failure, or a success that you can't measure up to again. Or, like, everybody has, if we sat and talked, everybody has that thing. Like, I can't because of X. Everybody has an X. So I think that that's really profound, that, like, your X is whatever it is, but you get to change when you want to.
Oh, I did have an injury, actually, back in 2016.
When you were doing the jump rope
I couldn't walk.
Chuck E. Cheese.
So 2 years ago,
at the Chuck E. Cheese thing, you were doing the jump rope.
I was jumping rope at my son's birthday party and couldn't walk.
Oh, boy.
So apparently I have degenerative disc disorder. That's what they call it. but I don't think I do, which maybe I do, but I just kind of put that away. And
Just not
so,
accepting that diagnosis.
no, it's not happening. So I see a chiropractor regularly. And if I would have listened to the doctors, like they sent me home with medication and said, "Oh, there's nothing we can do." Pretty much. And I'm telling, like, this was the worst pain I've ever been in my life. Like, worse than anything. Laid up in the bed, I couldn't move. I couldn't find like a position to be comfortable. Like, it was terrible. So like I was out of alignment. And so it was just bad. But I went to a chiropractor once a week for like 2 months. And so I still have to be careful with what I do. And it makes me so mad sometimes that I can't do what I want to do. Like, you're going to turn this over. When it comes to like deadlifts, I can't lift as heavy as some of my friends can. And I can't do it as quickly. And so, God, because I'll feel it. It'll like tweak. And so I'm like, I can't do it.
And you can't
So,
do
you do what you can, and much as
And
it
that's
makes you mad.
important because it's easy to be like, well, if I can't do it the way I want to, I'm not doing it. I'm real guilty of that. I'll be like, oh, well, it's not going to go the way I want. So there's no point in like doing anything, versus doing as much as I can. So I think that that's really important for people to hear too. All right. You ready for rapid fire? These were not on your list, but they're easy. I promise.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
It's happening. How do you take your coffee?
My coffee, protein,
I had a feeling.
all the way. I put butter in it. So it's a mixture of like bulletproof coffee with butter and protein coffee.
What's your favorite
and
flavor protein in it?
caramel latte, which I just got today. I am terrible with ordering things online, even though I know I need them. I ran out of caramel latte and I ran out of chocolate. I ran out of everything. What am I doing with my life? So yes, today was the first day I had it in a couple days, so I'm super excited.
And that's what
awesome.
she's balancing.
Oh, and we're using it as a stand. So it's serving all kinds of purposes.
Yes, this is true. I should have put some of that moonshine in my megawatt.
We were pre-gaming. We had this plan. Jeri was going to do moonshine and megawatt so we could get through this. Yeah. But you've done great.
I'm getting ready to work out, so I'm going to take this megawatt. Maybe I should mix some moonshine with it so I won't be so nervous.
I love it. If you had to do one workout for life, if you were just locked in, you can only do one thing, what would you pick?
Oh my God. One. I think. What would I do? Dance?
I had a feeling that's what it would be.
Like Zumba, like I like doing those kind of things.
You should wear that Zumba.
So probably that, because you can still do, if you didn't have access to weights, you could still do body weight things.
Absolutely. And Zumba's fun. All right. What is your mantra, or what do you tell yourself when stuff gets hard? Like mentally, where do you go when things are difficult?
I'd say for a little while, I'm probably have a lot of anxiety. So like, that's the first step for me, is when things are happening and I'm so nervous about it. And like, I think it was Saturday going into this, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. I gotta do it. Like literally, when you asked me to do this, I almost said no.
I'm really glad you didn't.
Because it's a video. I don't do videos. This is like my first video. So.
Well, it has been awesome. And I love having you. And I think that your story is so important for like 1,000 reasons. Because you could have not done anything. You could have lurked forever and, gained and lost the same things and just been like grouchy about it. You could have not ever put yourself out there and made the friends you have and inspired the people that you have inspired. So this could have gone a lot of different ways. And I think that's what makes your story so important. because a lot of people are sitting where you were sitting when you started. They won't say that. They won't say that they're failing to commit or that they're on the fence or that they're scared to fail, but they are. And I think you put
Right.
words to that really well.
Because that goes back into the thing of I never could do that, or I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I can do that, but you
Yep,
can.
absolutely. The last rapid fire is, what is in your snack? Like, what snack is in your bag at all times? Like, what do you keep on hand for snack emergencies?
Go grab them out of there. Snack emergencies, protein bars. My
Which ones?
favorite at the moment, hurry scurry, are these two actually. So the Power Crunch
Mm-hmm.
caramel, salted caramel, is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
Thick Crunch.
I have not had those.
You haven't had these?
Mm-mm.
They're so good. This one's the peanut butter. It's really good.
Awesome.
They have the ones that you can just sample, so you can get one to see if you like it. But those are my favorite. Like I went from in the beginning of like back in October of eating like pork rinds and jerky, nuts, and I ate so much of it that I can't eat it anymore.
Need a break.
So now I had to switch to something else. Like I can still do the pork rinds sometimes.
Like sometimes her
But-
dinners be her dinners are beef jerky.
My dinner.
pork
Oh
rinds.
yeah, I was
ain't
like
mad about
total single, like bachelor over here. I didn't have to cook dinner. You know, my husband's not here, so he's not like, oh, what are we having for dinner today? You know, so I would just have jerky and cheese and pork rinds.
I love it.
It's so sad,
He
right?
said bachelor life. And I know that he is so proud of everything that you're doing while he's gone. It has been so fun to watch this week as we've been, Jeri spamming everybody with how supportive and how excited he's been. So, Zach, we appreciate you and letting us hang with your girl. And she makes us proud too. So it has been cool to kind of see how you guys play off each other and use each other's strengths, to get through what is kind of a difficult spot. Like being apart is hard, and you guys are making it look easy.
Well, and he's doing the challenge too. Kind of not.
Awesome.
He doesn't post about it as much, but he does the challenge too. I think it'll be interesting, once he gets home, and he could probably push me more in the gym. Without the fitness classes, we could go together.
Absolutely. Well,
And then I'll be like, no, I'm not doing that.
And that competition's good.
It is.
Well, we have appreciated having you on, and thank you for sharing your story. And thanks for doing a video.
You're welcome. It's already been an hour. It's just so crazy.
And it wasn't painful, right?
It wasn't too bad. So maybe like the next time, I might be more prepared. Oh, you want to see my chair?
Yeah,
I'll show you my
absolutely.
chair. So it's a ball chair.
Yes.
See that?
Yes. We're gonna do this weird thing. If I can flip my camera, we are totally twins about that too. I don't know if mine will show, but it's over there. Can you see that? I don't know if my desk will show up.
See it.
I don't think I can switch directions of my camera, but there's totally one here. Hi, hon.
I don't know how to do that either. I'm not very.
I think once you go live, you're kind of stuck. But yeah, we have great socks and we have great chairs.
And I take her pictures.
Total twins. Oh yeah, my pictures, and
Our
I
professional
had
photographer.
to do it
They took like 200 pictures.
because she took like 200 pictures. It wasn't 200.
Yes, it was.
It might have been.
I love it. I love it. Well, Jeri, thank you for spending your evening with us, and thank your kids for sharing you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And guys, if you are watching, we are going to have notes so you can read this. We will have the audio stripped out so that you can listen. So if you want to pretend we have a podcast until I'm allowed to have a real podcast, you can listen on your drive.
Because that's what I would rather do was the podcast.
But you did so well with this, and we'll have the video so people can kind of take this in however they want.
She's telling you I went to get these yesterday at 8 o'clock.
My phone went weird.
For 3 people.
Oh goodness. I love
That
it.
was 2 weeks early.
But
They've been
anyways, thanks for.
awesome, and we appreciate you so much, hon.
I'm not so nervous now. Hope everything made sense.
It totally does. It totally does. And I think you will be surprised at who you hear from and how much your journey will resonate with them.
Thank you.
All right, girl. Have a great night.
Bye, you too.
Bye, y'all.